Okay, let's start off class appropriately. Buenos días. ¿Cómo están? Estoy muy bien. ¿Y usted? Alright, we have a lot to get done today. At this point, you should have already done your warm-up, and we're going to go over it, make sure you did it correctly. So let's go through that pretty quickly here. Your warm-up on the board said that you had to write out the following times. Some were digital, some were analog. Alright, let's look at our digital ones. Remember, for digital, we write what we see. So for the first one, 12:54, you should have written son las 12:54. Next one, son las 8:25. Son las 6:32. Son las 9:15. Alright, for the next section we have analog, and for the analog times we need to make sure that we're boosting the hour by 1 and telling how many minutes till that hour. So let's look at the first one. Son las 2 menos 3. Son las 4 menos 16. Sorry, that got erased. Shouldn't have. Alright. Next one. Oh my goodness. Sorry about this, guys. Son las 5 menos 28. And the last one es la 1 menos 6. Okay, so make sure you have those correct so you know how to do them for today's assignment. Alright, when we get going for today's stuff, there's a few things that you need to have. You need to have your notebook. You need to have something to write with. You need to have a highlighter. And then you're going to need the calendar sheet that Ms. Mormon have given you. Alright, so let's get started. Let's start with our notebook. On page 32 of your notebook, you want to title that page Los Meses del Año. Okay, it's right here. Alright, I'm going to copy the months of the year on this page. Make note that all the months of the year are lowercase. We do not start the months of the year in Spanish with a capital letter. We start them all with lowercase letters. Alright, let's go through them while you're writing them down. Repitan. Enero. Febrero. Marzo. Abril. Mayo. Junio. Julio. Agosto. Septiembre. Octubre. Noviembre. Diciembre. Alright, so all these months, they're all cognates with the exception of enero. It's the only one that's not a cognate. The rest of them look just like our months of the year in English, so they should be pretty easy to understand. The only one we have to watch out for is enero. It's the only one that's different. Alright, remember you're writing these on page 32 of your notebook. If you're not doing that, you need to make sure you get it done. Alright, so one more time, repitan. Enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. Alright, moving on. You need your 1 month calendar, your highlighter, and a writing utensil. Okay, so Ms. Mormon gave you a 1 month calendar. It looks like this. You're going to need that. You need your highlighter. Okay, so that's what we're going to start with. You're going to take your highlighter. You're going to highlight Octubre. You're going to highlight 2015. You're going to choose one square to highlight. And then 1 week to highlight. Okay. So Now we get our writing utensil back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and label these in Spanish. So starting out with the first one, octubre, we're going to label that el mes, because mes is how we say month in Spanish. The next one, we're going to label it el año, because año is how we say year in Spanish. We're going to go over to our one box. We're going to label that el día. Make sure you put an accent mark over the I. That is two separate words, by the way. And then the next one, la semana. That's the Spanish word for week. Not like as in your week person, but as in 1 week of month. Alright. So remember we talked about the calendar yesterday, and we said how the Spanish calendar starts on Monday and it goes through Sunday because this had religious ties to it. Reasoning being that most Spanish-speaking countries, when the calendar was developing, were predominantly Roman Catholic, and because of that, the people based their calendar off of what they learned in the Bible. In the Bible, it told us that on the seventh day they rested. So the seventh day was meant to be the Sabbath, the day of rest and worship. And so for that reason, Sunday needed to be the seventh day on the calendar. So that's why we have Sunday as the seventh day on our Spanish calendar. Alright, this is going to go in your notebook on page 33. Go ahead and write yourself a little note at the bottom showing that you're going to put that on 33. Once you're done with the video, then you'll have time to do that. Alright, moving on. Next, you need to go to page 35 of your notebook and copy down this vocabulario. Okay, so remember page 35 of your notebook. We're going to go through the vocabulary as we're going through it and saying it. You need to copy it down in its translation. The first one, repitan. ¿Qué día es hoy? Okay, so ¿qué día es hoy literally translates to what day is today? Okay, or what day is it? When somebody asks this question, what they want to know from you is what day of the week it is. So an appropriate response to this would be es lunes, it's Monday, or es sábado, it's Saturday. Alright, next one, repitan. ¿Cuál es la fecha? ¿Cuál es la fecha means what is the date. When we use this to answer this question, we normally respond with the date and the month. So that would be el 30 de septiembre, because today is 30th of September. Next one, repitan, hoy. Hoy means today. The H is silent. Next one, mañana. We've seen mañana in dealing with time, and we know mañana means morning. But when we're talking about days of the week in the calendar, mañana means tomorrow. Next word, día. We just saw that on our calendar. El día is a day. Next one, semana. Semana means week. Then we have mes, which means month. Año, which means year. And fecha, which means date. So if you see the word fecha on a piece of paper, it's asking you to write the date. Okay? You should have these all written down along with their translations. Moving on. Okay. Also on page 35, you're going to take a couple notes about writing dates in Spanish. In the United States, we use a month, day, year format. So we put the month, then the day, then the year. However, it's not the same in Spanish-speaking countries. Actually, most other countries in the world use the day, month, year format. So we have the day, the month, and then the year. The military in the United States also uses this format because it makes the most sense. It goes from the smallest unit of time to the biggest. So that's why we use day, then month, and then year. Alright? So when we write this in Spanish, it looks like this. This is the abbreviated version. And then this is the written out version. We write it all the way out. When we say the date, we use the the word el, followed by the number 30. Then we use day, and then the month, septiembre, and then del, and then the year, 2015. So when we say the date, it's el 30 de septiembre del 2015. And we say it the same way every time, changing the date. Okay, so there's two we're going to practice with. The first one is going to be February 14th of 2016. So let's put this in the short format. So we start with the day, so we put 14. Then the month, February is the second month. And then the year, 16. Okay? So if we were to write this in extended version, it would look like this. El 14 de febrero del 2016. Okay? Next date we're going to try is May 27th, 2016. It's a day we look forward to, the last day of school. Okay, so let's start with the day. 27 de mayo del 2016. So if we extend it out, we say el 27 de mayo del 2016. So notice how we use these every time. Pretty simple. Alright, so that's date writing. Let's continue on. Next we are going to go over our homework from yesterday. It's important that you make sure you got these correct so you know you're doing it correctly. You want to be very careful with number 1, 3, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, and 14. Those ones you were supposed to write in analog form. Remember that when we're using analog form, that if we have numbers, if the minute is between 1 and 29, then we use E followed by the minute. If the minute is exactly 30, then we use E and media. And if we have minute 31 or up to 59, then we use menos and the number of minutes to the next hour. Okay, so remember we have to boost the hour by 1. So let's look at the first one. We have 3:45. First we need to boost the hour to 4 o'clock, so we say son las 4. And then we say menos because it's not 4 o'clock yet. And then we tell how many minutes until 4. And that would be 15 because it's 15 minutes until 4. So son las 4 menos 15. Alright, number 2. Son las 5:15. Number 3. Son las 6 menos 15. 4. Son las 8:12. 5. Son las 6:16. 7. Son las 8 menos 18. 7. Son las 10:29. 8. Son las 2 menos 4. 9. Son las 3 menos 2. 10. Son las 5 menos 23. 11. Está 1:25. 12. Son las 2 menos 21. 13 es la 1 menos 17. 14 son las 7 menos 1. Y 15 son las 5 y 21. Alright? You need to make sure that you got all your homework answers right so that you know you're doing it correctly. Okay, so just some reminders. Tomorrow, Thursday, your cultura is due. If you get it turned into Miss Mormon today, it's worth a bonus 30%. Also today, Miss Mormon is going to give you La Hora Tres. That's your third time practice. It is due on Friday. However, if you get it turned in on Thursday, it's worth a bonus 30%. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. I expect that you are going to be on your best behavior for Miss Mormon, that you're paying attention, working on your assignments. At this point in time, you may begin to put all your papers into your notebook. Make sure they're in the right spots, please. And then you can work on La Hora Tres, the time practice 3. If you have extra time, you need to go back, go over your time notes, go over your time vocabulary, go over your calendar notes and calendar vocabulary and practice those. I suggest that you make yourself some note cards to study from because you will have quizzes coming up next week. Alright, have a fantastic day y nos vemos mañana. See you tomorrow.